Control of documents and records is essential for maintaining accuracy, consistency, and compliance across all operations. It ensures that information is properly controlled, securely stored, and easily accessible when needed. By managing documents effectively, organizations improve performance, strengthen traceability, and build confidence in their processes, while driving continual improvement and continual innovation. Welcome to QGLOBAL Academy. By the end of this training, participants will gain a comprehensive understanding of the topic, learn practical implementation techniques, explore industry best practices, review real-world case studies, and build greater professional competence and confidence. A course completion certificate is available upon request. For certificate eligibility, enrollment details, and additional learning opportunities, please visit our website or contact us using the information provided. To stay connected with QGlobal Academy, visit www.qglobalacademy.com or email info@qglobal.in. Let's begin the learning journey and take the next step toward professional excellence. This module introduces the fundamentals of documents and records management effectively. The goal is to ensure integrity, accessibility, and compliance across all organizational processes. This course is designed to build practical knowledge of document and record control. First, the purpose of documented information will be explained. This provides the foundation for understanding why organizations control documents and records. Next, the difference between documents and records will be discussed. Although they are related, they serve different purposes. The course will then explain where documentation requirements come from. These may originate from standards, regulations, customers, or the organization itself. The documentation hierarchy will also be introduced. This helps organize information from policies down to forms and records. The document lifecycle will be covered, including creation, review, approval, revision, and distribution. Record management will also be discussed. This includes storage, protection, retrieval, retention, and disposal. External documents and obsolete information will be covered to ensure only current information is used. Finally, common audit findings and best practices will be discussed to help strengthen the document control system. Documented information supports the effective operation of an organization. It standardizes processes and activities. Everyone follows the same method of working. It ensures consistency in operations. Similar activities produce consistent results. It helps meet legal, regulatory, and management system requirements. Documentation provides evidence of compliance. It communicates responsibilities and expectations. Employees understand what needs to be done. It preserves organizational knowledge. Important information is retained, even when people change roles. It supports training and competency. Documents provide clear guidance for learning and performing work. It demonstrates conformity during audits. Auditors verify that processes are implemented as documented. It supports traceability and accountability. Activities can be tracked and linked to responsible personnel. It improves customer confidence by showing that processes are controlled and reliable. Finally, it supports continual improvement and risk management by providing information for analysis and decision-making. Documents and records are both forms of documented information. However, they are not the same. A document describes how work should be performed. It provides guidance before an activity begins. Examples include manuals, procedures, work instructions, and forms. Documents can be updated whenever improvements or changes are required. A record is created after the work has been completed. It provides objective evidence that an activity actually took place. Examples include completed forms, audit reports, calibration certificates, and training records. Unlike documents, records are normally not revised because they represent historical evidence. A simple way to remember this is documents tell us what to do, records prove that it was done. Organizations use many different types of documents. Manuals provide an overview of the management system and its requirements. Policies define the organization's intentions and commitments. Procedures describe how activities should be performed. Work instructions provide detailed step-by-step guidance for specific tasks. Forms are used to collect information during an activity. Specifications define technical or quality requirements for products, services, or processes. Now let's look at records. Audit reports provide evidence of audit activities and findings. Calibration certificates confirm that measuring equipment has been calibrated. Completed forms record information collected during operations. Test reports document the results of inspections or laboratory testing. Training records demonstrate employee competency and completed training. Complaint records capture customer feedback and the actions taken to resolve issues. Together, documents guide work, while records provide evidence that the work has been completed. This module explains the different types of documented information. It covers documents, records, electronic data, and external information. Understanding these types ensures effective control, protection, and availability to support compliance and efficient operations. Documents are organized in a hierarchy to make the management system easy to understand and maintain. At the top is the Management System Manual. It provides an overview of the entire management system, including its scope, policies, and major processes. The next level is policies. Policies define the organization's intentions, commitments, and guiding principles. Below policies are procedures. Procedures explain how different activities are planned, performed, and controlled. The next level is work instructions. These provide detailed, step-by-step guidance for performing specific tasks. At the operational level are forms and checklists. Forms are used to collect information, while checklists help ensure that required activities are completed consistently over time. As we move down the hierarchy, documents become more detailed and more specific to individual activities. A well-structured documentation hierarchy makes information easier to find, understand, and control. Organizations use different types of documents for different purposes. A manual provides an overview of the management system and its key processes. A policy communicates the organization's commitments and direction. A procedure explains how a process is carried out and identifies responsibilities. A work instruction provides detailed guidance for performing a specific task correctly. A form is used to record information while carrying out an activity. A checklist helps ensure that all required steps are completed consistently. A process map gives a high-level view of how activities are connected. A flowchart uses symbols to illustrate the sequence of activities and decision points. A technical specification defines technical or quality requirements for a product, service, or process. Finally, a standard operating procedure, or SOP, provides standardized instructions for routine operational activities. Selecting the correct document type improves communication, consistency, and operational effectiveness. Documents can be created in different formats depending on the type of information being communicated. Common formats include Word documents, PDF files, and Excel spreadsheets. Organizations also use engineering drawings, CAD files, images, and videos to communicate technical information or work instructions. These documents may be stored using different types of media. Some organizations continue to use paper documents for operational activities. Others manage documentation electronically using computer systems, shared servers, or cloud-based platforms. Many organizations also use a document management system, or DMS, to control document creation, revision, approval, and distribution. In some situations, documents are accessed through mobile applications, allowing employees to retrieve current information while working in the field. Regardless of the format or storage method, all documented information should remain controlled, accessible, and protected throughout its lifecycle. This module covers the creation and identification of documented information. It ensures each document is clearly defined and assigned a unique identity. This supports traceability, consistency, and effective control throughout the document lifecycle. Every document follows a life cycle, from creation to final disposal. The first stage is need identified. A document is created only when there is a business, customer, regulatory, or operational requirement. Next is create. The document is prepared using the organization's approved template and format. The document then goes for review. Subject matter experts verify that the content is accurate, complete, and easy to understand. After review comes approval. Authorized personnel approve the document before it is released. The next stage is issue. The approved version is assigned a document number, revision status, and made available to users. Once issued, the document is used during normal operations. Whenever changes are required, the document is revised. Updates are reviewed and approved before the new version is released. Older versions are then archived. They are retained only if needed for legal, regulatory, or historical purposes. Finally, when the retention period expires, the document is disposed of using the organization's approved disposal process. Following this life cycle ensures that only current and approved documents are used throughout the organization. Organizations create documents for many different reasons. Some requirements come from legal and regulatory authorities. These include laws, regulations, and government notifications that the organization must comply with. Many documents are required by management system standards, such as ISO 9001, ISO/IEC 17025, API-Q1, or IATF 16949. These standards specify the documented information needed to support the management system. Documentation may also be required by customers. Contracts, purchase orders, and technical specifications often define documents that must be maintained. Suppliers also provide important documents. Examples include equipment manuals, software instructions, and supplier contracts. Every organization develops its own internal documents. These include procedures, policies, forms, and work instructions that support daily operations. Finally, organizations may need documents to comply with accreditation or certification requirements. Examples include policies on the use of accreditation marks, certification processes, and handling complaints and appeals. Identifying all these sources ensures that the organization develops complete and effective documented information. Document creation ensures that all necessary information is developed in a structured and controlled manner and made available only after proper review and approval. The process begins with clearly defined responsibilities. Documents are typically prepared by subject matter experts who are accountable for ensuring accuracy, completeness, and clarity of content. Once prepared, the document undergoes review by authorized personnel. This review verifies technical accuracy, suitability, and compliance with applicable requirements. Following the review, the document is approved by authorized management. Approval confirms that the document is adequate, compliant, and ready for release. Only approved documents are allowed for use, and approvals should remain independent wherever possible. The document creation process includes several key steps. First, the need for a document is identified. Then, the document is drafted with relevant content and references. This is followed by technical review by subject matter experts and a quality review to ensure compliance with standards and formatting requirements. After successful reviews, the document is formally approved. Finally, the document is released, controlled, and made available to intended users. Key points to consider include ensuring that documents are accurate, appropriate, and authorized before use. Reviews and approvals should be carried out by competent individuals, independent of the creator wherever possible. Records of reviews, approvals, revisions, and release history must be maintained. Additionally, documents should be periodically reviewed and updated to ensure continued suitability. A well-defined document creation process ensures consistency, quality, compliance, and effective use of documents across the organization. Document identification ensures that every controlled document is uniquely identified, traceable, and used correctly throughout its life cycle. Each controlled document typically contains specific identification elements. These include the document title, document number, revision number, and revision date. It also includes details such as who prepared the document, who reviewed it, and who approved it. Page numbering is included to maintain completeness and traceability. In addition, Each document includes a confidentiality classification and identifies the document owner responsible for maintaining it. An example of a document identification block includes the document title, document number, revision details, page number, and approval information. This identification block is usually placed on the first page and may appear on all pages to maintain traceability. Documents are also classified based on confidentiality levels. Public documents are available for general use and may be freely distributed. Internal or business use documents are restricted within the organization or shared with authorized partners only. Confidential documents contain sensitive information and are limited to authorized personnel. Restricted documents represent highly sensitive or critical information and require strict access control and authorization. Proper document identification and classification ensure protection of information, regulatory compliance, efficient document management, and support informed decision-making. A consistent structure and standardized headings in documents ensure clarity, completeness, and ease of use. Documents typically follow a recommended structure, depending on their type. A manual provides an overview of the management system, including scope, structure, and interactions. Policies define the organization's intent, principles, and commitments. Procedures describe the sequence of activities and responsibilities for specific processes. Work instructions provide detailed, step-by-step guidance to perform specific tasks. Standard headings are recommended in documents to ensure consistency. These include purpose, which defines why the document exists, scope, which defines boundaries and applicability, and responsibilities, which define roles and accountabilities. Procedures describe methods and activities, while references list applicable standards, documents, or regulations. Records specify evidence generated, and revision history tracks changes made to the document itself. A well-structured document improves understanding, ensures consistency, and enhances traceability. A Master Document Register, or MDR, is a central list of all controlled documents and records in an organization. It helps identify the current approved version of every document and record. The register normally includes the document and record number. This provides a unique identity for each document. Maintaining an updated master document register ensures employees always use the latest approved documents. This module covers the distribution, storage, and protection of documented information. It ensures information is shared with the right people, stored securely, and safeguarded from loss or unauthorized access. Effective control maintains integrity, availability, and compliance throughout its lifecycle. The concept of document availability and controlled distribution is a critical requirement in any management system. Controlled documents shall always be available in the right place, at the right time, and in the right format. This principle ensures that personnel have access to accurate, relevant, and up-to-date information when performing their tasks, thereby reducing errors and ensuring consistency in operations. Documents should be accessible at the point of use, either in physical form or through digital systems. The second requirement is that documents must be easily retrievable. This requires proper organization, indexing, and storage mechanisms. Documents should be structured in a way that allows quick identification and retrieval, minimizing delays and improving efficiency. The next requirement is that documents must be accessible to authorized users. Access control is essential to ensure that only personnel with defined responsibilities and permissions can view or use specific documents. This helps in maintaining confidentiality and preventing misuse. Documents must also be distributed to relevant personnel. Whenever documents are created, updated, or revised, the current version must be communicated effectively to all individuals who require it. This ensures that everyone is working with the latest approved information. Another important requirement is that documents must be protected against unauthorized access. This includes safeguarding documents from loss, damage, alteration, or unauthorized disclosure. Protection measures may include access controls, backups, encryption, and secure storage. Moving on to controlled distribution, this process ensures that the correct document, in its latest approved version, is delivered to the right person at the right time with proper traceability and protection. Documented information must be protected throughout its life cycle to ensure integrity, confidentiality, availability, and suitability for use. Documents must be protected from unintended or unauthorized changes. This is achieved by implementing access controls and user permissions, ensuring that only authorized personnel can edit documents. Version control and change management systems must be in place so that all changes are tracked, reviewed, and approved. Additionally, audit trails should be maintained to record all modifications. Documents may be lost due to human error or system issues. To prevent this, regular backups must be implemented. Recovery mechanisms such as recycle bins and restore functions should be available. Delete permissions should be restricted, and restoration processes must be periodically tested to ensure effectiveness. Sensitive information must be protected from unauthorized disclosure. This requires classification of information based on sensitivity levels. Encryption should be used for data both at rest and in transit, and confidentiality agreements should be enforced to ensure accountability. Documents may become unusable due to system failures or data integrity issues. To mitigate this, organizations should use reliable storage systems and validated platforms. File integrity checks, such as checksums, should be implemented. Another important area is protection against physical damage. Documents, whether physical or digital, must be safeguarded from environmental and physical risks. This includes storing documents in secure areas, using fireproof and water-resistant storage where necessary, and protecting them from dust, heat, humidity, and other hazards. Digital documents are vulnerable to threats such as malware, hacking, and unauthorized access. To address this, organizations must implement firewalls, antivirus, and anti-malware tools. Systems and software must be kept up to date. Strong password policies and multi-factor authentication should be enforced. Regular security assessments and awareness training are also essential. The requirements for storage and preservation of documented information ensure that records remain secure, legible, and accessible throughout their defined retention period. Starting with storage considerations for electronic records, the first key element is backup. Organizations must perform regular automated backups to prevent data loss. These backups should be stored in secure and separate locations to ensure redundancy. In addition, restoration processes must be tested periodically to confirm that data can be successfully recovered when needed. The next aspect is cloud storage. When using cloud services, organizations should select reputable providers that offer high availability and reliability. Data redundancy and disaster recovery capabilities must be ensured. Another important element is server management. Electronic records must be stored on secure servers with controlled access. Systems should have sufficient capacity and reliability to handle data loads. Encryption is also critical for protecting electronic records. Data should be encrypted both at rest and during transmission. Moving to physical storage considerations, the first focus area is fire protection. Physical records should be stored in fire-resistant cabinets or rooms. Environmental control is another important factor. Records must be protected from water, dust, pests, and direct sunlight. The next aspect is filing systems. A clear and consistent filing structure must be maintained. Files and folders should be properly labeled to allow easy identification. Next is maintaining legibility throughout the retention period. Records should be protected from fading, smudging, or physical deterioration. This explains the control of external documents, which are documents created outside the organization but used to support internal processes, products, or services. External documents may include standards, customer specifications, regulatory requirements, equipment manuals, drawings, and supplier specifications. Organizations must identify all external documents required for their activities. This includes recording essential details, such as the document title, source, and the applicable version. External documents must be distributed to relevant personnel or departments. External documents may be updated by the issuing authority. Therefore, organizations must monitor revisions and changes regularly. When updates occur, obsolete versions must be replaced, and changes must be communicated to all affected personnel. Access to external documents must be restricted to authorized personnel. Organizations must actively monitor external sources for updates or changes. This includes checking for new versions, amendments, or revisions. Once changes are identified, they must be reviewed and implemented as required to maintain compliance as required. The highlights and best practice is to maintain a master list or register of external documents. This register should track document sources, current versions, and review status. It ensures that only approved and up-to-date documents are available for use within the organization. Records are essential for demonstrating compliance, supporting decision-making, and ensuring traceability and continual improvement. Good records must be accurate, reflecting true results without errors or omissions. They should be complete, containing all required information and data. Records must be legible, ensuring clarity and ease of understanding, and traceable, clearly linked to activities, products, or individuals. They also need to be secure, protected from loss, damage, or unauthorized access. Finally, records should be readily retrievable, allowing quick and easy access whenever needed. Well-managed records ensure reliability, accountability, and effective decision-making across the organization. This module focuses on the review of documented information. Regular review ensures documents remain accurate, relevant, and up-to-date. It supports effectiveness, compliance, and continual improvement across processes. Periodic review is a critical control in any management system. Over time, processes, technologies, regulations, and organizational structures change. If documents are not reviewed regularly, they may become outdated, leading to errors, non-compliance, and inefficiencies. The periodic review is important to maintain relevance. Regular review ensures that documents reflect current processes, methods, and practices. The next purpose is to reflect organizational changes. As responsibilities, structures, products, or services evolve, documents must be updated to reflect these changes. This ensures clarity and avoids confusion among personnel. Another key purpose is to address regulatory updates. Laws, standards, and customer requirements are frequently updated. Periodic reviews ensure that such changes are incorporated into documents, maintaining compliance. The final purpose highlighted is improving usability. Reviewing documents allows organizations to enhance clarity, simplify content, and improve ease of use for personnel. This increases effectiveness and reduces the risk of misinterpretation. Documents should be reviewed at defined intervals, such as annually or every 2 years, depending on organizational policy and risk level. Whenever there are changes in equipment, technology, workflows, or products, related documents must be reviewed and updated accordingly. New or updated legal, statutory, customer, or standard requirements must prompt a document review to ensure compliance. Observations from internal or external audits may highlight gaps or outdated information, requiring document updates. Corrective actions also trigger reviews. When nonconformities or complaints occur, documents must be reviewed to address root causes and prevent recurrence. Lessons learned and continual improvement initiatives often require updates to documentation. Let us see the document review cycle. The process begins when a review is due. The document content is then evaluated to determine whether it remains accurate and suitable. At this stage, a decision is made, or changes required. If changes are needed, the document is revised. If no changes are required, the document is reapproved to confirm its continued validity. In both cases, the process ends with the release of the current version, ensuring that only approved and updated documents are available for use. This slide explains the control of change for documented information, ensuring that all documents remain accurate, current, and fit for purpose throughout their lifecycle. Effective change control is essential to maintain consistency, traceability, and compliance within the management system. The first key element is revision numbering, where each document is assigned a unique revision number. This helps track the sequence of changes clearly. Alongside this, revision history records every update, including the revision number, date, description of changes, and approvals, providing full traceability. Before any revised document is released, it must undergo proper review and approval by authorized personnel. This ensures that all changes are validated and aligned with organizational requirements. At the same time, obsolete versions must be promptly withdrawn or clearly marked to prevent unintended use, reducing the risk of errors. Change notifications are also critical. Relevant personnel must be informed of updates and provided access to the latest version, ensuring that everyone works with accurate and current information. The revision control process follows a structured flow. It begins with identifying the need for change, followed by impact assessment. The document is then updated and drafted, reviewed and approved, and officially released. After release, stakeholders are notified, and previous versions are withdrawn or marked obsolete. The sample revision history table demonstrates how changes are documented in practice, including details of preparation, review, and approval, ensuring accountability at every stage. Overall, effective control of change maintains the integrity, reliability, and traceability of documented information, ensuring that only the latest approved version is in use across the organization. This module covers the retention and disposal of documented information. It ensures records are kept for the required period and disposed of securely when no longer needed. Proper practices protect confidentiality, support compliance, and maintain information integrity. Record retention is a critical aspect of document control. It ensures that information remains available for as long as it is needed for operational, legal, regulatory, and business purposes. At the same time, it ensures that records are not kept longer than necessary, reducing risks related to data overload, security, and compliance. Laws and regulations often specify minimum retention periods for certain types of records, such as financial or safety records. Organizations must comply with these mandatory timelines. Contracts with customers, suppliers, or partners may define specific retention periods that must be followed. Some customers may require records to be retained for defined timeframes, particularly in regulated industries. Certification or accreditation bodies may require certain records to be maintained for specific durations to demonstrate compliance. Internal policies define retention periods based on risk, operational needs, and business considerations. Records should be retained only as long as necessary to meet requirements. During the retention period, records must be protected to ensure their integrity and confidentiality. Records should be easily retrievable when needed for audits, inspections, or operational use. Once the retention period is complete, records must be disposed of securely to prevent unauthorized access or misuse. For example, customer contracts may be retained for several years after the contract ends, based on legal or company policy requirements. Quality records, such as inspection reports, may be retained for a defined period based on customer or regulatory requirements. Training records may be retained for a certain period after an employee leaves the organization. Internal audit reports and financial records also have defined retention periods based on accreditation or legal requirements. Obsolete documents and records are those that are no longer active or required for routine use. However, they may still need to be retained for legal, regulatory, contractual, historical, or traceability purposes. This distinction is important because not all outdated information is immediately discarded. Some must be retained under controlled conditions. Obsolete documents must be strictly controlled to prevent unintended use. They should be clearly marked as obsolete so that users can easily identify them. They must be removed from all points of use, such as workstations, shared folders, or operational systems. If retention is required, it should only be for specific purposes, such as reference or legal needs. Measures must be taken to prevent accidental use, and such documents should be securely archived. Now, moving to obsolete records, these are records that have completed their operational use but are still retained within their defined retention period. Examples include archived audit reports, historical calibration records, archived training records, and previous management review records. Unlike documents, obsolete records are not withdrawn, but retained as evidence. These records must be archived securely and remain accessible throughout their retention period. it is essential to protect their confidentiality and integrity, ensuring they are not altered or lost. Once the retention period expires, these records must be disposed of securely in accordance with approved procedures. Proper disposal is essential to protect confidential information, ensure compliance with legal and regulatory requirements, and prevent unauthorized access or misuse of sensitive data. Disposal methods vary depending on the format of the information. For paper documents, secure methods such as shredding or controlled destruction must be used. This ensures that information cannot be reconstructed or misused after disposal. For electronic records, disposal must be performed using secure techniques. These include secure deletion, data wiping, archive deletion, and removal from backup systems. Simply deleting files is not sufficient, as data may still be recoverable without proper methods. Before any disposal activity, authorization is mandatory. Disposal must be approved by the appropriate authority in accordance with organizational policies and defined retention requirements. This ensures that no document or record is destroyed prematurely. The authorization process must confirm that the retention period has expired and that the records are no longer required for legal, regulatory, contractual, or operational purposes. In addition, organizations must maintain a record of disposal. This includes details such as the date of disposal, method used, description of the documents or records, and the authorization provided. This ensures traceability and accountability. Thank you so much for spending your time with us. If you learned something new today, we'd really appreciate your support. Please give this video a like, share it with your friends or colleagues, and don't forget to subscribe to the Q Global Academy channel. It helps us reach more learners and continue creating quality training content just like this. Looking to learn even more? Visit www.QGlobalAcademy.com to explore our latest courses, certification programs, and professional development resources. If you have any questions, we'd love to hear from you. Just send us an email at info@qglobal.in.